Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Battle by Tier in World of Tanks. And yes, we have completed the Tank Bowl for 2017. Team Germany emerged victorious. And so what I'm going to try and do today is a quick mini review of the reward tank, the champion Panther M10. There's a lot of you out there on Team USA. You probably put in a lot of work. Some of you earned at least the participation medal, and a lot of you, I'm sure, earned the MVP medal. And now you have a decision to make. Are you going to purchase the Panther M10 for half off or 15% off? Obviously, this tank just came out, so this is not a review that's going to offer in-depth tips and tricks based on my hundreds of hours of gameplay with the tank. What I'm trying to do is give you an idea of what it's like. So I'm going to go through the statistics really quick, and then I'm going to show maybe 2 battles just to give you a feel for the tank. You'll see how it plays for me. I'll describe kind of how I use it and how I had some success or not. And then, hopefully that will inform you enough as to whether this fits your playstyle, whether it's something you want to invest the real world money in case you didn't win it. It's great if it's a free tank, right? It's definitely worth the 0 gold, but is it worth the gold for you that you'll have to pay for it? That depends on the player. A lot of people swear by the Yag Tiger 88 and say it's a great tank, but if I jumped in that tank, I would have an awful time because I hate playing tanks without a turret. So I'm going to try and keep things kind of subjective. I'll give you my spin on it, but then I'll lay out the facts of the tank and let you kind of draw your own conclusions for that. So hopefully you'll be able to make an informed decision here in short order because the clock is ticking on purchasing this tank. So here is the Panther M10. It's interesting looking. It does have a unique skin. And you can see from the front, it's got the cool shield on there. And then as we come around the side, you can see the unique decal. It definitely looks like Wargaming is setting up to make this a recurring theme. The decals all say Tank Bowl 2017. And you can see the 2 skulls in the back there, the German and American flags kind of clashing. And I imagine that may be a theme. So next year, if it's France versus Russia, I think you'll see those 2 skulls kind of clashing on the back of whatever the reward tank there might be. So hopefully something that they continue to do. Maybe we'll tweak the how the mechanics work there a little bit. I'm going to try and do another video kind of reviewing the tank bowl event as opposed to this tank. But that'll be for a future video. So quickly stepping through the statistics of the tank, you can see the engine, 700 horsepower, forward speed 46 kilometers per hour, reverse speed is 20 kilometers per hour. That's all just about average, right? It's just okay for medium tank. This thing comes with a 75 centimeter gun, 2.3 second aim time, and a 4.5 second reload time. The reload time is really good. It's one of the strengths of the tank. Turning speed, rotation for the tracks is 38 degrees per second. You can see the turret there, 350 meter view range. We're at tier 7, so it's okay, but it's certainly not great. You're not going to be leading the spotting charge in most of your games, and 38 degrees per second for the rotation speed. You can see where the radio is positioned there, not a big factor on the tank. And then the ammo racks, they are right along the top of the hull underneath the turret on the left and the right sides. They're narrow in terms of their height, and they basically aim just below the turret on the flat armor, and you'll have a chance to hit the ammo racks and do some real damage to this tank. And then the position of the crew members, there are 3 jammed very tightly in the turret. So I guess if you're going to hit the turret, you're probably going to do some crew member damage as well. And then we'll take a quick look at the armor profile. But I say quick because there's just not a lot of armor on this tank. So I played 10 battles the first night I got the tank just to get a feel for it and put this video together. And I think I bounced maybe 2 rounds. So it can happen, but it's not likely to happen. So, the front plate, the upper plate is pretty well angled, but again, you're looking at about 80 millimeters of thickness there. So yeah, if your tier 6 is shooting at you and they hit your plate at a good angle, you might bounce it. But don't rely on it. It's certainly not something you can rely on. The one thing this tank does have going for it is a high hit pool. 1,300 hit points is pretty good for a tier 7 medium, so you can definitely take the hits. You're not going to be bouncing, but if you've got a low alpha gun shooting at you, you've got a pretty good reload too, so you can kind of use your hit points there, especially if you've got full health at the end of the battle. Don't be afraid to take a hit for your allies. That came up constantly for me throughout my gameplay. So we're going to jump now into a replay, and I'll continue to talk some more about the tank and highlight some of its strengths. So the first battle is going to be a standard battle on Tundra, the winter version of the map. And this is actually the very first game that I played in the tank. And the theme that I'm going to give you here is this tank seems to be an average Joe in just about every way possible. The mobility is average. It's okay, right? It doesn't move around like a Cromwell, or maybe it's similar to a Comet. It feels a little bit more sluggish than a Comet, but it moves. Like you'll see, I'm able to shift a couple of times here, and at the end of the battle there's somewhere I need to get, and I'm able to get there with reasonable amounts of quickness. So not a speed demon, but not sluggish. It's just average. In terms of the armor, definitely not average, definitely below average, but it's a medium tank. So you're not really expecting to be bouncing shots in your medium tanks unless they're very specialized for that. The rate of fire really is, I think, one of the strengths here. So you can pump out shots. You can perma-track a heavy that sticks its front out around the corner. You can pull into that drive wheel. Your second shot's going to go out. 4.5 seconds is the reload, and that's without having a gun rammer and without having a great crew. So you can get it even lower than that, and that can really lead to some nice results, some nice damage, and some good tactical situations in this tank. The other thing this tank really has going for it, which I did not mention in the review, is that it has premium matchmaking. So you will only see tier 8 at the most battles. This is a tier 7 medium tank. You can see tier 8s, but you can't see tier 9s, and that really helps. It's nice knowing you're never going to see a tier 9 tank. Now, don't get me wrong, when this tank goes up one-on-one against a tier 8, you're going to feel it. If you run up against a Super Pershing one-on-one, you don't have his flank, you don't have support, it's gonna be tough because you can't outmaneuver him to get his side where his armor is weak. You don't really have the penetration to go through that front armor. You can aim for the weak point, but again, if they're a competent player, they're rocking back and forth, they're making that harder for you to hit. It's going to be really tough because you don't have anything that's basically just a better tank than you are. It's going to be a little bit slower maybe, but you're not going to be able to circle strafe it to get its side. So tier 7 matches are very common. The first day I was playing this, I got into a lot of matches where I was top tier, and I felt strong, not overpowered, not dominant, but like I could handle any situation if I played smart. There you can see some nice, the aim time, it doesn't feel bad. 2.3 seconds. It is pretty good for a medium tank. It aims in quickly. You cannot mount a vertical stabilizer on this tank, so this is as good as it gets without obviously a gun lane drive. But there you can see, so this tank works very well in concert with others. I saw our heavy advance, put a shot in, I was able to come out, put one in, and then I pulled back and let the Skoda finish off the ally there. So it's nice to kind of poke out, get a hit, and then retreat. So commenting on this exact battle instead of general characteristics of the tank, I knew this T-3488 was up here, and I'm hunting him, and well, it's my first battle drive in the tank, and you can see I kind of screw up that approach. I wanted to stay to the right, to stay up on the mountain and come at that guy, but no worries, we can just back down the hill, do a little front flip, a little cartwheel for style, and we're able to put one into the T-3488 and finish it off. And so here's the situation I alluded to earlier in the game. There are 4 enemy tanks close to our cap circle, and I want to get back and try to defend the cap. And you can see I'm moving at a nice clip here. It's about 45 kilometers per hour on flat ground. It doesn't struggle too much going uphill. You definitely slow down, but you can get where you're going. And another good thing about defense with this tank, you can throw out rounds very quickly. Find the first tank, put one in, reset his cap points. Find the second one, throw one in, reset his cap points, and you've got a big health pool to trade while you're doing it. So our allies are also capping. It looks like one of our allies got back here and reset. We're able to get back here, and we've got the Russian heavy in front of us. We put one in, we put a second in and destroy him. And unfortunately, it looks like our allies have pretty much capped, but we're able to prolong the battle a little bit here, get another kill on an enemy in the cap, and now we're just trying to eke out that last little bit of damage. The Russian heavies are strong here in the cap circle. We're able to put a number of shots in and eliminate, not quite eliminate that tank before our allies finished the cap. But here we go. This is what should drive the decision, I think, for this tank. So you saw it performed fine as top tier. That was a quick battle. I did 1,000 damage. I think I might have fired a premium round or two there. I forget. 55,000, almost 56,000 credits for not a great game. A third class mastery badge, 1,000 damage, 9 penetrations. If you do about 10 penetrations in this tank, you can expect to make about 55, 56,000 credits. And that's reliable. That happened in a number of my games. So that's a pretty good credit earner. If you don't have a lot of premium tanks that can earn additional credits, this might be a reason to purchase this tank, in addition to being a dual crew trainer for both Germany and USA. On to the second and final full battle I'm going to show. This is a tier 8 battle. I believe I had maybe 3 or 4 out of the 10 games were tier 8s, and most of those, the tier 8s were maybe a third of the team. So you really, at least on this night when I was playing, did not run into a ton of higher tier tanks. A couple of tier 8s here and there, mostly top tier battles as a tier 7. So let's see how the tank performs as a middle tier. I think there's some tier 6s in this one as well. And then what I'm going to do after this battle is I'm going to put just the screenshots of the post-battle results from all, I think there's all 10 of them, of the games that I played. Maybe one is missing there. But you'll be able to see the amount of damage that I did and the amount of silver that was earned. And that'll give you an idea of what you can kind of expect. If you perform X in this tank, you can expect to earn X amount of silver, and I think that's the biggest thing in terms of trying to decide whether you need a premium tank, whether you should pick one up, is what you can get out of it in terms of silver earning potential. Again, this also has premium matchmaking, so maybe that improves your gameplay. It also is a dual trainer for Germany and the US, so maybe that's relevant to you as well. But all things aside, the biggest thing for me in terms of a premium tank is the amount of silver it can earn. And there you go. I promised you a bounce. There was, I think, the only bounce of the night for me off of the upper plate there, well angled, additionally angled because I was going uphill. So it can happen, but does not happen too often. So keep an eye out if you want to take a look at those post-battle results. I probably won't have commentary going over it, but I will show the damage done and the silver earned. I think there was one in there where I had a loss and earned 120,000 silver for, under or just around 2,000 damage. So the silver earnings can be pretty good in the tank if you're having a decent result. I didn't have any sick, top guns in this short amount of time that I was playing, and I put away about, 50K was an average to low game. There were one or two where I bombed out in a tier 8 game. I ran up into a super Pershing in an assault defense and got completely destroyed and didn't have a good game there. But even that one I think made 20K. So it's a good silver earner. It's a nice average tank. So hopefully this will help you decide. So right here I'm kind of just peppering this building. I'm trying to destroy cover. The enemy tanks have pushed kind of aggressively through the town. There's 3 or 4 of them in there, and I'm just trying to open up some firing lanes. And because the ammo is cheap, because this tank earns good silver, you can kind of do that. And also it fires very quickly. So I'm not missing out on much opportunity. I'm not really wasting a ton of silver to try and give myself some future shots here to help my team out. So you can see the sniper capabilities of the tank. They're not great, but this is, again, it's pretty good for a medium tank. That was long range there. Look, that shot flew true, and we got 2 in a row into the light tank and removed it from the game, and helped out that flank pretty big there by removing a very mobile tank from the enemy team. So yeah, it's not a marksman, but I think I might have earned 3 sniper medals in the 10 games that I played. So just, again, to give you an idea, a nice lead shot there into, I think that was a Russian tank destroyer moving through there. I'm not quite sure. I only caught a glimpse of it for a minute. But yeah, the tank rewards good play. It rewards your aiming. The shell velocity is pretty good. It's not like the shots go lumbering through the air. We're able to lead this IS-3 or 6. I forget which one. IS-3 advancing across there. And when I have his flush side, it's kind of a 50-50 whether I pen or not. And the sides of the IS-3 are kind of notoriously well armored with their space armor and everything. So I end up switching to the premium rounds here, and it's kind of a weird situation. I really want to be doing damage to this tank. It's in a dangerous position It's really kind of making a lot of my allies vulnerable. So I switched to the premium rounds, and I'm aiming for most of the time, and there he over-angled, so I went for the side. But I'm aiming for the front portion of the pike nose that's facing me on as I'm looking at the tank here, the left side. And you can see, man, we are just struggling, even with the premium rounds, to go through this tank. So this is what I'm talking about when I say if you run into a capable tier 8 tank in kind of a one-on-one situation, and this isn't even that. This is unfair. He doesn't even know I was here until now, and I'm just bouncing off him. You can get into trouble in those situations. So yeah, if you're trying to carry a game and it's a one-on-4 situation, and one of those tanks is an IS-3 or a Super Pershing, you're gonna have trouble. So this tank has a. I did a little bit of research on the side about this tank before getting into it. The regular Panther M10, obviously not the champion skin version, and it has a really bad reputation. Like, the first thing I think I saw, and anybody talking about the tank, is it's just a poop tank, it's bad. So I had a really low bar set for my expectations going into this, and maybe that's what's happening here, because I was surprised by the tank. Again, I don't love it. I'm not going to play it often, but it's a nice premium matchmaking tank to have that you can jump into, and yeah, why not? So this is the situation I was talking about here. I have full health. I've been able to preserve my health pool. I was on the mic telling my allies, hey guys, hold up. All these guys are really badly damaged. Let me come around the corner. I'm going to take the hit, and you guys follow me around. And there we go. I had a whole ton of hit points. I was able to take a hit from the Russian tank destroyer, and my allies were then able to push through. We didn't lose any tanks. We kept all our guns in the fight in this close game, and that's really important. And even after taking that hit, I'm still in good shape. I've got 3/4 of my hit points, so I can do it again, and I think I'll have an opportunity to do so coming up here pretty shortly. So that, to me, is how this tank can turn the tide of a battle. If you can preserve some hit points for late, you can be the one to take the hit and save some of your allies, trade some hit points, and get yourself into a position, get your allies into a position to kind of push through, use your numbers. But, I see this happen all the time in a battle. You've got 3 tanks and they're facing off of 1 enemy, and your other flank needs those tanks. You need to beat this enemy, but nobody wants to take the hit. Well, in this tank, you can be the one to take the hit. You're probably not going to balance it, but you've got the hit points to spare if you've played smart up to this point. So do it. Get around that corner, use your speed. Maybe they'll miss. Maybe they'll even bounce if they hit a well-angled side, and let your allies follow you in to clean up the kill. So we're in a bit of a tricky situation here. We have the advantage. We're up 2 tanks, but the enemies are concentrated nicely, and after we won that flank, after I kind of pushed through there, 2 of our tanks kind of split up, and so now we lost our artillery. Now we're just up 1 tank, and there we go. I saw the tracer. I knew that IS-3, he's the only tank that's not spotted. He's down there in the left, so I'm kind of telling my allies, pinging the map, saying, hey, there's an IS-3 down there, and he's a one-shot. Remember, we left him on a sliver of health. I'm telling anybody, if you got a big gun, load HE. If you splash him, you can take him out. The Panther's gun, I carry 2 HE rounds. I'm thinking for, if I need to explode on somebody's drive wheel, maybe I'll have a better chance of tracking them. The ammo, the caliber of this gun, it's too small to reliably use HE to really do anything. Even artillery, the penetration on these rounds, I think, is like 30 for the average penetration. It's not good. You're not going to even go through most artillery. So it carries a ton of shells, so I feel like I could afford to carry 2, but there's not really a good situation to use them. Fortunate outcome there, where I was able to get one into the drive wheel of the T-34, was it a 1? And my allies were able to finish it off, so that's great. So there's the IS-3. Again, his pike nose is pointed right at us, so he's angled well. Shots are going out, not doing anything. I think my ally there fired an HE round as well. He said he was letting one go. I loaded my HE round. It didn't go through, so now I load my premium round, but thankfully, before I'm able to fire it, one of my allies did take him out. So now it is 4-on-2. We just need to be smart here. I come around to try and put one into the side of the tank destroyer, and I think, did I just duff the shot into the ground, or did I bounce off him? Either way, not a great result for me, but a good result for the team. We got the kill. And then again here, it's 4-on-1. We're probably fine, but I tell these guys, hold up. Let me come around the corner. Let me take the hit, man. I'm not going to lose my tank in one shot. I'm trying to angle. He goes for the front plate. The side was well angled. I probably would have been able to auto bounce, but a smart player here in the British heavy tank, and he does put a shot or 2 in me, damages my engine. I don't get the kill, but kept all our guns in it. We kept something silly from happening, everybody going out one at a time. If that first tank went out, took one hit and died, it would have been a roadblock for the second tank. It could have happened. We could have got ourselves into a situation. So take the initiative, take the hit when you got the hit points, and trade and help your allies out. And here again, tier 8 battle, 1,300 damage, and about 50,000 credits. So just a nice, reliable result in this tank. You can see how he did in terms of it's just about 1,000 XP. So a good game, but not a great game. And a nice amount of silver earned. And it was fairly quick, too. Not super fast, but nice result. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is roll the post-battle results for those games. I'll have each of them up for about 5 or 10 seconds, roll through them all, and then I'll finalize my thoughts for the tank at the end of the video. So to wrap up this little mini review or preview or purchasing guide or whatever you want to call it, I thought I would just pull up the stats from my 10 battles this first night in the Panther M10, just so you can get a quick look at some of those statistics. Once again, the overall feel for this tank for me, it is a nice, average, medium tier 7 tank. And it gets premium matchmaking, and it earns extra silver, and it's a dual crew trainer, US and Germany. You can see there 10 battles, 7 victories and 3 losses, 13 tanks killed, so over one a third per battle. Survived half of them. Racked up some nice medals, a couple of sniper medals there. So if any of the perks on this tank interest you, dual trainer, premium matchmaking, anything, then yeah, it's probably going to be worth it for you. If your garage is stacked, you don't need another one, and you'll have a lot of medium tanks, maybe you give this one a pass. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please feel free to like, subscribe for future content. Recently hit 300 subscribers. So thankful for all the support. Really excited about it and looking forward to the future. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.